I want to bring in Project 21 Ambassador Curtis T. Hill Jr., former Attorney General of Indiana. Curtis, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, well, you just saw Letitia James, in her own words, campaigning to bring down former President Trump. Is she, like Bragg, making good on her campaign promise? What do you make of it?
I think that's absolutely what this is. We're looking at the weaponization of the justice system, and following the overall weaponization of race and the reclassification of sex and the destabilization of faith and family, justice is next. This is an effort to tear down the justice system bit by bit, and as a former prosecutor, I find it appalling.
Well, the Democrats have tried really hard to take down Donald Trump. I mean, the New York Times editorial board wrote that prosecuting Trump was a necessary first step toward fixing the greatest crisis in American democracy since the Civil War. Meanwhile, Curtis, look at what our country has turned into in just 2 short years. And using our justice system to go after political opponents, is that opening up a Pandora's box of political indictments against former presidents and, let's say, other elected officials?
Well, that's the crisis here. I mean, the prosecuting attorney is the most powerful elected official over congressmen, senators. The ability to charge someone with a criminal offense or to let someone go is an incredible amount of power. And for this to be used and abused in such a fashion, this is just the first step. This is starting the Pandora's box, as you say, to opening up to political attack anyone who's running for political office and using the prosecutor's power to achieve that objective.
I want to get your reaction to this. Trump was just on Fox, and he said he was there. He did an interview, and he was asked, who is the biggest threat for us, China, Russia? He said, no, it starts from within. What do you think about that?
No question. I've always said that no combination of countries can take down this nation. The divide inside, attacks of our institutions. You attack the justice system and bring that down, and that's where you see the end of America. So it is absolutely necessary for people to rally about the wrongness of this particular action.
What kind of a message do you think this sends to Americans as, you know, we see all of these legal actions against Trump? I mean, he's running for president, but these liberal DAs are doing whatever they can to tie him up in lawsuits. Do you think that more Americans are waking up and seeing what this is all about, or they're just living in their echo chambers?
Well, I sure hope they're waking up, because that's exactly what's happening. When the system is being designed to tear apart political favor, it's not that you're taking on your opponent because of what they believe or their value system. You don't like them, so you're going to go after them criminally and file charges against them criminally. That's an insane attitude to have for these prosecutors, and it's all over. This is a concerted effort that's been underway for the last several years of left ideology prosecutors that are choosing who they're going to choose to prosecute or not prosecute based on their own agenda. And as Letitia James made it clear in her campaigning, as DA Bragg made it clear in his campaigning, they were out to get Trump. And that's not about the conviction. That's the indictment. Charging him is all they really needed to do to put that stone around his neck.
I mean, those videos that we aired of Letitia James saying that she's going to go after Donald Trump, and then there's some of Alvin Bragg, those are easily available to mainstream media. That should be the big news.
That should be the absolute news, that this was a planned, targeted approach. The justice that we're searching for, and justice for all, that means that we operate a fair system under the Constitution. These DAs are radicalizing the justice system by throwing out the Constitution, putting their own agenda in place, and then browbeating the heck out of whoever they want to browbeat. This is just the beginning.
Don't you find it interesting that Alvin Bragg is now suing Jim Jordan over his investigation into him?
Well, I think I don't think that I'm going to be surprised about anything that Alvin Bragg does. I mean, as I've said, he's got nothing to brag about in terms of how he's handled this matter thus far.
I love that. Project 21 Ambassador Curtis T. Hill Jr., former Attorney General of Indiana, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.